Meanwhile, we've had a pass for second. Jeremy Clements in the number 3 car got by the 22 of Josh Wise to move up to second.
The top 3 cars in front of this field now have never won in the ARCA RE Series, looking for their first ever win. There's a gentleman lurking behind them in 4th right now who has quite a few wins, though.
Yeah.
Josh Wise, what's going on with that team now, Wendy?
Well, Josh Wise started off a little bit free, and it started to get tighter. Said he could deal with it. That's why they stayed out on the last caution. However, he's been hitting the chip in the 4th gear. He said he's not pulling through the gears like the other guys out there. He's not comfortable with that, and that could cause trouble. Wouldn't you agree, Phil, at a place like Pocono?
Yeah, absolutely. You get so much of a variance between RPMs here. That's why these guys will shift at least once, if not 2 times. And you could be a big disadvantage here if you have any sort of an issue like that. You heard a rev limiter right there in that microphone. You know, I was talking to Mike Dillon at Indianapolis last weekend. He's a vice president of competition for RCR, Richard Childress Racing, and he's extremely high on that number 3 car, Jeremy Clements. Thinks he does a great job, and he's only 22 years old. Always runs competitively. Doesn't run a full schedule, but when he shows up, they run well.
Jeremy Clements just in front of this number 22 of Josh Wise. Again, Clements was able to get by Josh Wise for the 2nd position and has begun to reel in Landon Castle. Castle looked as though he was checking out on the field, but now Jeremy Clements looks like he can at least see the back bumper on that car.
Yeah, there's a battle for 9th right there. That's Philip Magilton, the 47 car out of the Bruco Motorsports stable. There's Dexter Bean right there. He's being shown in the 6th position right now. Mark Mitchell, the 93, was able to get by Dexter Bean to take over that spot. And there's the 2 of Michael McDowell.
That was that battle for 9th.
Racing with the 47 of Philip Magilton.
Cars beginning to spread out here around the racetrack now. Again, Landon Castle setting a blistering pace around this racetrack.
You can see right there the biggest movers. Dexter Bean up 27 positions from his official start, as we see Michael McDowell go ahead and make the pass on the 47 of Philip Magilton to take over that 9th position.
Aaron Crocker being scored way back in 14th. Now we see the tire coming off.
That is Aaron Crocker. Oh, that's Travis Quapple.
That's Travis Quapple. He was on pit road numerous times, and he's just shredded the left front tire. And so he will slow down. There's debris on the racetrack. We haven't seen the caution come out as of yet.
I think that's going to have to bring that caution out. We saw so much debris on the racetrack right there.
Right in front of us, Phil. I mean, there's some debris that's right in front of us on the racetrack where that tire began to shred on the front stretch.
Travis has to be extremely careful. What we talked about before, if that tire doesn't, you see the rubber continuing to come off. He goes to the access road to try to stay off the racetrack, but that could do so much damage on the left front fender of that car. So far, it looks pretty good. You can see him coming off turn number 3 right here. He pulls over, going to try to make the pass on the 6 of Dexter Bean. And there you see the tire go down. Fortunately for Travis, right in the middle of the straightaway, and the caution flag is out for all that debris we were talking about.
Also seeing that Bobby Santos in that 0-2 slow on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's something more than a tire issue right there for Bobby Santos. Tough break for him. Great pole run. 2nd pole this year for Bobby Santos and that Bill Davis Racing development team. Big break for Travis Quapple. By virtue of the fact that the caution came out, not a big break. You can see the damage already to that left front fender. It tried to take that fender off the car.
The big problem for Travis Quapple right now, who came into this race with one of the best cars in the field, is you can't get a free pass in the ARCA RE Series. Once you go a lap down, you've got to race your way back in front of the leader and then hope a caution comes out so that you can make up that additional 2.5 miles that you would have to make up around this racetrack.
Yeah, Travis may not have lost a lap yet. He may be able to get back onto the racetrack without losing a lap. The pace car is coming off turn number 4 right now. You see that Jeff Campy's guys get the work done, so he probably will be able to get back out. The pace car has not picked up Landon Castle yet. He's actually running faster than the 99 is on pit road, so that ARCA RE Series officials will have to determine whether Travis Quapple should be able to stay on the lead lap or not.
We'll find that out when we come back to Pocono Raceway. Action returns for an all-new season. Superbikes, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific only, right here on Speed. Pit road closed, so we didn't see anyone coming onto pit road this time by. When it opens back up, we would expect to see quite a few drivers up toward the front making their way onto pit road.
Yeah, we think so. They will be pitting on lap number 26. Travis Kvapil did come in. He is trying to make some more adjustments to that 99 and try to repair some of the damage to the front end of that car. See right there, Roush guys, there's Matt Kenseth's DeWalt team working on that car. It's amazing how much damage a tire will do when it comes apart like that.
Got a lot of work taking place on pit road right now.
Travis is being shown one lap down, and that ARCA RE/MAX series, I think we'll have to determine whether Travis should have been able to stay on that lead lap, because he was coming off pit road, and Landon Castle, who had not been picked up by the pace car, was coming by probably running 30 miles an hour faster than Travis Kvapil. So that may be something that ARCA RE/MAX series may look at as they continue to make repairs on that number 99 Roush Fenway Ford.
And Travis Kvapil pits just across the start finish line on pit road. Kvapil looking to repeat what he had done back in 2005 on this racetrack, grabbing his only win in the ARCA RE/MAX series as he takes the car off of pit road. We look back at 2005 and Travis Kvapil, a younger Travis Kvapil, but not too much.
Not a couple of years, yeah, but he was driving for Roger Penske right there. There's Travis Kvapil going by Joey Miller, who's in this field today in the 32 car.
To the inside of the racetrack in a very impressive burnout. Travis Kvapil winning here in June of 2005.
Landon Castle, our race leader, is in. 4 tires, a slight air pressure adjustment. He's a bit tight in turn 3. They cautioned him about the transmission leaving the pit area. He had transmission issues in his first race at Kentucky. Down to Wendy.
For 4 tires and fuel, tight in the center, loose off the throttle. He's already gone and away. They made an air pressure adjustment, and also around in the right rear, looking at the 3 of Jeremy Clements, who has a little bit longer stop. ARCA called down to them, said they needed to fix the right rear bumper that comes along the quarter panel. They had damage and it was flapping. ARCA RE/MAX series was not happy with that. They will make that adjustment, causing a little bit longer stop for Jeremy Clements, and now he has stalled the car. He refires it and he's away.
Yeah, Wendy, that damage came from the contact with the 02 of Bobby Santos III. That's what cut down Bobby Santos' left front tire. Jeremy Clements did not affect the performance of the car because he was running second when this caution came out. But the ARCA RE/MAX officials decided to make him make sure that rear bumper, rear fascia was attached. So didn't want that thing to be flapping here at 200 miles an hour on the straightaways.
Phil, this has been a long caution. We talk about this being a fuel mileage race. We've already gone about 4 laps of caution around here. 4 laps of caution here is 10 miles. Yeah, I mean, that will help out with your fuel mileage.
Absolutely. And you probably get about twice as good a fuel mileage under a caution as you would under green flag conditions. But, you know, obviously we're on lap number 26. The majority of the field came in this caution flag. They will not be able to make it the rest of the way, obviously, but they will be able to make it on one more pit stop for sure. As you can see, Travis Kvapil continuing to make adjustments on that number 99 car. They were looking at the toe end right there to make sure that that tire didn't affect the toe end. There's Frank Kimmel's crew right there looking at his Hoosier tires that they took off this car. Frank had a nice gain from way back where he started.
Safety crews continuing to clean up the racetrack, making it safe for all the competitors. We'll be back with more racing from Pocono right after this. We flash back about 2 months ago, right here at Pocono. Tires were the issue here, Phil.
There's Patrick Shelter right there in the 60 car. He loses a left front tire. There's Chad McCumbee, our eventual winner, losing a left front tire early in the race. There's Johnny Sauter doing a one-off deal in Country Joe car. He loses a left front tire. There was about 6 or 8 left front tires that we lost here, and you see Chad McCumbee goes ahead and wins this race. But Travis Kvapil is one of the guys that has had trouble with a left front tire here, Jim. See our pit summary right there. Landon Castle came in first, came out there. Several cars stayed on the racetrack that time. That's why Landon Castle was not able to get out any closer to the front. You see Jeremy Clements when he talked about all the repairs he had to make to the right rear corner of his car. But Jim, let's take a look at those tires down there, Jim.
Well, Phil, this is a brand new Hoosier radial tire that's in Landon Castle's pit. What Frank Kimmel told me before the race, because of the tire issues they had yesterday and in June, he went from a very aggressive 11-degree camber setup where the tire stood up more, maybe a 7.5-degree angle, to try to prevent that shoulder wear that we're finding perhaps on Travis Kvapil and other race cars. Now, Phil, he told me it might be a bit slower, but it's got to be safer, right?
Well, it is, Jim. You're exactly right on that. You know, it's a nice handling tool. The more you can lean that tire in, the better that car is going to turn. But you're going to pay a price for that. And, you know, this is the same tire that Hoosier had here in June. So we had a little bit of advance notice that there could be a problem. Talked to a lot of the crew chiefs and the drivers in the garage area. And just as Jim was saying, a lot of those guys were not leaning as hard on the camber on these cars or letting the air pressure down. That's another one of the tools that the teams will use to make that car turn better is less air pressure. So when you do less air pressure and a lot of camber, then you may see situations like we saw with the 99 of Travis Kvapil here. Wendy.
Phil, we were checking out the right front tires as they came off the car on these last round of pit stops. Now, the guy I was covering, the 22 of Josh Wise, no problems on his right front tire. Now, on the other side of pit road, I had Bobby Gerhardt, who's running for points, of course. Billy Gerhardt, his crew chief, said they were a little bit concerned about the right front tire. They came in earlier in the day at lap 13 and wanted to check those right side tires, but he said everything looks good for Bobby Gerhardt.
And obviously you're going to want to keep your eye on that. If you're only going to come down pit road twice, you want to make sure that that tire wear is even. And if it's not, what are the things you can do? I mean, your hands are a little bit tied with the setup you put in the car.
Yeah, you really are. Only thing you can do basically is put more air pressure in. And that will help. You cannot affect the camber during a race. It would take too long to do that, but you can put a little air pressure in, and that will minimize the risk you have. As we see Mike Harmon, he's one of the cars that stayed out when the caution flag came out. He inherited the lead, but he is on pit road right now. And right now we have the one of Dominic Casolo leading the race, and he actually has a new to him, a new Roush Fenway car they purchased last week, and a Roush Yates engine. So he's got a nice package here, and he's got the lead right now.
His best finish, and we're talking about Dominic Casolo, who's out in front of the field right now, that number one. His best finish is at this racetrack back when we were here in June, where he finished in the 14th spot.
Yeah, he's just getting better and better and better. Did not run the race at Daytona earlier this year, has run every race since. And Dominic's doing a great job here. Inherited the lead, a little bit of different pit strategies than some of the other guys that pitted on this caution flag. There's a guy running second right now, the 48. You can see right behind Dominic Casolo. That is James Hilton.
James Harvey Hilton. James is a little bit, I guess you'd call him an elder statesman of the sport.
He actually finished second in the NASCAR Grand National at the time points probably 2 or 3 times back in the 60s. I remember 1966, 65 or 66, James Hilton was a NASCAR Grand National Rookie of the Year, and here he is some 40 years later.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier about 1972 being the year that Darrell Basham started his ARCA RE Series career. Well, the 48 of James Harvey Hilton, he's over 72 years old and still out here racing on this racetrack.
How about that? Tried to make the Daytona 500 this year, had a real good shot at it during one of the Gatorade duels, wasn't quite able to make that race, but he obviously would have set a record of being the oldest driver ever to start the Daytona 500. Didn't get it done, but got a good run going here today.
Sure does. Right behind him, Adam Edwards in the number 62. We've got a few cars that are staying out on the racetrack using pit strategy right now for track position. Pace car will come off of the racing surface, and now it's back in the hands of Dominic Casolo as the green flag flies once again at Pocono. Phil, I would guess this is the time when we're going to see some cars move toward the front.
Just like that number 87 of Landon Castle. He made it 3 wide there, got by a couple cars. See him on the inside right now. Joey Miller got by him, the 32 Country Joe's car. Now he's going to get by, make it 3 wide in turn 1.
Using those fresher tires to the inside of the racetrack he goes. Landon Castle trying to take the top spot back, but he's got Michael McDowell right in front of him.
And Dominic Casolo is still our leader right now.